So our kind of fifth kind of major input for this session so far. 9 things that I asked you, so 9 things came out of the research. What I did when I kind of did the research, chunked them all down, gave them a little bit of a timeline. Not that time is always that relevant, but it's just a way to kind of chunk this down a little bit. So I've just said, a good coachee will assess possibilities, assess perception, and do something about it. Performance, 3 Ps. So you can look at there being a bit of a timeline. A good coachee would hold on to possibilities, challenge their perception, and change their performance. Okay? You can put anything across the top there, to be honest, that works for you in terms of the kind of start to finish, change, model, whatever you want. But you know, and that's what you'd be doing in 2 or 1 previous page. Okay? So all you need to do now is tune in and listen into the results, if you like, of the research, and then just got to map your words against your answers. Okay? I know some of you got the exact word match, so well done you. And I know some of you haven't got the exact word match, but I know you mean the same thing that came out in the research, because I basically have to use 9 words to describe them, but your words might be different. Okay? So, first one was the clue in map number 2, which is about authenticity. So a good coachee will know what's important to them. So this is things like self-awareness, which I know you've got on your charts. Steve was talking about values, those kind of things. This is the work in knowing yourself, your direction, what's important to you, all those different things. So kind of give those words a tick that you've already got that kind of match that, or you might even have the exact word authenticity. But it's about values, it's about the inner, it's about the direction, and about skillfully starting to apply those values, in our case, in a work environment. Okay? Next word, which I know is, I didn't check both lists, but I know this is on at least one of those lists, is around change. Okay? So a good coachee will be able to handle change, deal with change, lead change, transformation, call it whatever, you might have different ways to call it that, but fundamentally there's something about change here. Okay? Next one up here is emotions. Okay? Doesn't discount thoughts, but what we're just saying from that, in the Western world we tend to kind of miss out our emotions sometimes. We're happy talking about thoughts, you know, I think, you know, this budget, X, Y, and Z, but how do you feel about the changes to the team? Okay? Now, if you look at your words, you might have quite a lot of words which are actually emotions. So I think courage was one of the lists. So you could say, that fits there, okay? But I also say, sometimes people talk about definition of authenticity, is the courage to be yourself, okay? So it doesn't really matter where it goes. This is not a distinct mapping process, and you do not show authenticity on week 1, then change on week 2, and this on week 3, and forget those when you're over here. It's not like that, but it's just a way of trying to see it on a page, okay? What we'll do is we'll deal with any words that you haven't yet seen represented, and we'll just see where they might fit. Okay. This next box down here is around curiosity. The other big word, which was very close to hitting the page, was about reflection as well. So I know some of you got curiosity down there anyway. But it's about reflection, curiosity, 2 levels really. Why am I behaving like this, or why do I feel like this? And why is the team or the other people behaving in such a way? Now, of course, all these things start joining up. Okay. Why am I anxious? You know, being curious about your emotions. Why am I struggling to engender change? Okay? Why do I hold this to be important when no one else does? So they all kind of start going together, it all gets a bit messy, but hopefully this is just giving some clarity as to what it could look like. Right in the middle is challenge, tension, friction, those kind of things. Interestingly, how these sometimes work out is if you just look at the way I've created the 9 grid, the map if you like, challenge shares a boundary with every other one, so in a way it works nicely because there is a challenge how fast you can change, a challenge to how you feel. So it is an undercurrent approach, and these all things all work on different layers, but I just thought that was quite quirky the way it came out. One at the top, like this one, is the most fundamental, or one of the most fundamental roots of coaching, but often gets forgotten because it's so blindingly obvious to you, so you might have forgotten it. It's about questions. So a good coachee can deal with the question as well as the answer. So they're okay with holding questions, remembering questions, posing questions. On the flip side, someone who wants the answer quickly is probably not coachable for that certain time. There might be a timing thing or a situation thing. But yeah, it's sometimes so blindingly obvious to coaches that they can't forget it, but it's up there. Alrighty, 3 to go. So into a more performance zone now. Yeah, this is where the rubber's hitting the road. It's definitely something about goals, direction, targets, KPIs, way forward, direction, you know, those kind of things in there as well. For me, fairly consciously, I put it more towards the end of the cycle rather than at the start. You know, grow model, great model, well used, spiky part of G is grow. What are your goals? Okay. And I would say some more research coming out at the moment from a few coaching leaders, if you like, saying that goals are best explored, once you've got into the coaching a bit more. This is when they really know what the goals are. And classically will say, I want to develop confidence, and actually they're going to actually it's more about self-esteem. It's the same thing, it's slightly different. But it's about really knowing your goals and your direction. This one probably needs 2 words, but I'll give you the word that I've used in the research. It's about systems, but the other big word, which will probably kick in there, is about networks. Remember, this is the performance area now, so this is about what are you doing differently, and what does a network or system look like around you. Okay? Well, I wanted to improve morale in the team, and one of the things we've done is we now meet every monthly rather than every quarter, or something like that. Something has fundamentally changed around that person. Things like, I'm now reading books on leadership that I never have done. There's something that's a system might be on their desk. You can touch and feel this stuff around what's their system like, what's their network like. And it completely privileges your 90% answer, is I believe, and we believe, that they've got everything in their system around it, they've just got to try and find it. They know the person that they need to speak to, they know the book they need to read, but for whatever reason they're not ready to go off and buy it or dig it out or borrow it or whatever it is. They've got it all. And the final thing, stealing from map number 2, which was really your crib sheet, so this is me kind of doing a bit of sneaky coaching, is that I prepare you for something you need later on. My favourite model of all time is The Karate Kid, the old film. Because basically, if you haven't watched it, I don't want to kind of spoil the film, but it's been around for like 30 years, so you probably should have watched it if you haven't watched it by now. And Danielson is desperate to learn karate to defend himself, forget the bullies, and get the girl. Great Hollywood story. Mr. Miyagi, reluctant to coach him, blah, 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 and starts turns up for his first session, doesn't he? And famously, wax on, wax off. He's doing the floors, and he's doing the fences. And then later on, he realises those are the defensive moves that he needs. So it's about preparing him for later on. Okay. This last one is around energy, therefore. It's about performance now. I think I need to do something different. In science, it's about something new is made. Chemistry, it's all about something new is made. That's what my chemistry teachers always to talk about. So what have you done that's different now that you didn't have before? What have you made? Have you got more confidence or self-esteem? Is that boosted? More coachability? Have your team got increased morale? Have you improved the process? That's energy as well. Have you got promotion? That's energy. Are you earning more money? Money is energy. There you go. So that's my map. Now remember, you don't seem to get too nasty with this, because where's my word? Where's my word? This is my theory. You've got yours, which is probably as valuable, if not more valuable than mine, particularly if you bring the two together, and you've got your own map in your head as well. Because integrity might be super important to you. Okay? I saw honesty on the list. There might be honesty to someone else, integrity to someone else. And it does matter. And this is almost where this bit kicks in, because one person's authenticity, integrity, honesty, it means slightly different things. And classically, if you go on a journey, set your compass bearing, a couple of degrees off, early days it doesn't matter. But by the time you get 50 miles north, or 2 degrees off that bearing, suddenly you're quite far off where you thought you were.